Welcome to Mount Prospect Public Library's Library Life. I'm Kathy Cushing. Today we'll enjoy theatrical storytelling at its best with Super Saturday's The Brothers Grimm. We'll also explore Youth Service's New Parent Expo while visiting with an entrepreneur who created her own line of organic baby food. And we'll learn how incorporating a few simple exercises into a daily routine can help seniors maintain strength and flexibility. But first, let's step 150 years into the past by revisiting the folksy and poignant music of America's Civil War era. Songs like "Oh Susanna" and "When Johnny Comes Marching Home" exemplify the folksy storytelling elements inherent in the music of a war-torn nation some 150 years ago.
When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, we'll give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah.
This library event, co-sponsored by the Mount Prospect Historical Society, features the talents of a musical ensemble known as the Battlefield Balladeers and is one of a number of local events scheduled to commemorate the sesquicentennial of America's Civil War.
Tonight we're going to be doing songs and stories of the American Civil War, and we try to do an overview of songs that mostly people are familiar with. It's going to be interactive. We always encourage the audience to clap along and sing and chant in response, because that's the kind of music that we're playing at least was.
Civil War musician David Corbett joins his wife Eileen and a Civil War historian Robert Girardi in presenting this educational hour-long performance.
Well, Battlefield Balladeers grew out of a acoustic group, a duo, myself and another guitarist. And he wanted to go on and write songs of his own, so he did. I had just gotten into Civil War reenacting a little bit. And then people started calling me up and saying, "We understand you know how to play some Civil War music or sing them or something. Would you like to perform at our library or museum?" And just kind of grew out of that.
Come again, my true love, oh, where you've been so long.
Authentic Civil War uniforms lend visual credibility to the event.
This is actually a private's uniform of the 1st Virginia Cavalry Confederate. He's got a hat called the Hardee hat. He's got a frock coat. So the regular U.S. soldiers looked quite a lot like that, but some of the Western ones did too. One thing you learn from studying Civil War is that they didn't all wear the same thing. They're all the same color basically, blue or gray or something, but really different cuts of things.
Period instruments round out the sights and sounds of this group.
The drums are rope tension drums. They're not like modern drums that are reinforced with steel. The banjo has gut strings and a skin, unlike the modern bluegrass banjo, which has steel strings and usually some sort of synthetic head. So it's not as twangy. The guitars are smaller.
Approximately 110 Mount Prospect Public Library patrons enjoy stepping into the past and learning a thing or two about the lifestyle, politics, and music of the Civil War era.
No, we just like to have a good time, get some history, walk out of here, know what a goober pea is, know that Illinoisans were called suckers, get a little American heritage, a little feel-good spin on it.
Navigating the world of parenting is never an easy task, especially when you're a novice. For this reason, the Mount Prospect Public Library is hosting a New Parent Expo on September 10th. Joining me today on Library Life to discuss this event are Head of Youth Services Mary Smith and a featured speaker who invented her own brand of organic baby food, Denise Henderson. Welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, let's start with you, Mary, and talk a little bit about the premise behind the New Parent Expo.
It's an informational fair and open house format for new parents of children from 6 months before they're born till 6 months afterwards. It'll be 2 hours, drop-in format with a variety of tables. And there'll also be 2 featured speakers and a car seat safety check.
Okay, so now what are some of the exhibits that parents can expect to find there?
There'll be information on breastfeeding, choosing safe toys for your baby, introducing your pet to your baby, and things like that.
Okay, now Denise, you are one of the 2 featured speakers.
I am.
And you're going to be talking a little bit about superfoods for baby. So tell us what a superfood is in your opinion right now.
A superfood is a food that possesses above excellent source of vitamins or minerals, usually more than one. So it brings a lot of immune boosting power to a person's immune system.
Okay, and it's great to have a head start with that, right?
Yes.
Now
yes.
you invented Square One Organics,
I did.
a brand new line of baby food. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the baby food business.
So my husband and I had premature twins, boy and a girl, and our son was allergic to dairy and soy. And in the allergy universe, when we were going through this, the thinking was the longer you keep them away from what's making them react, the better they have, a better chance they have of outgrowing this particular allergy. And so my go step was keep them away from what's making them react and keep them super, super healthy. So I thought, okay, well, which foods do that? And so I started researching the foods that make a positive impact on growth and development, and I bumped right into the word superfood. So I thought, that sounds great. What are those? Let's make those. And so I started making them. Single ingredient purees. I did that for a variety of reasons so that we could really detect if he was having an allergic reaction. And then a little system sort of came into play. And then an additional freezer went into our basement to hold all of this baby food that I was making.
Wow.
And neighbors saw what I was doing, suggested it was a business, and Square One Organics is now sold in retail locations.
Wow. So now how long ago was that?
Well, I started making my own baby foods in 2002. We went to a local trade show in Chicago just to sort of see if our neighbors really, is this really a business in 2006. And then I worked with a medical team and a food scientist and developed it, and Square One came to market in the summer of 2008.
Extremely entrepreneurial of you, and this is a product that we're talking about right now. You can feel it. It is in the frozen section, right?
It is in the freezer.
So let's talk a little bit about organics versus conventional baby food.
Right.
What is the difference, and what are some of the benefits for the baby?
Well, we have to I think you take a step back and look at what's happening with a baby. It's at the 6-month marker, at early, and this is, we're seeing the biggest development in brain, the biggest growth spurts, biggest things happening in this child's life. And so what we want to do, the concept behind Square One, and just organic foods in general, is these foods are going to be void of pesticides and herbicides. When they're being manufactured, those manufacturers have to abide by fairly stringent, cleaning processes and things like that. And so the concept is, let's just have this beautiful, unadulterated, sort of very clean food coming into the child's system, so that all that child has to do is eat and grow. And we don't have to break down any harmful chemicals or additives or anything that could get in the way of this beautiful growth and brain development. So that's why we pick organic versus conventional.
Also, even though they're babies, you want to introduce the foods at certain times, and do you want to introduce them in a certain way so that they learn how to eat well?
Well, what we did was as I said, we worked with a medical team. And so one of the resource materials you can get from our website is the Square One Organic Superfood Introductory Guide. And I love a great Excel spreadsheet, especially if it's color-coded. And so what we did was we laid out our superfoods, which are color-coded by vitamin A superfoods, vitamin C superfoods, super greens, and our line is gluten-free, so our cereals are going to be gluten-free. And then we also dropped in along the left-hand column the age at which the child's digestive tract is mature enough to handle those foods, plus other organic foods that Square One doesn't currently make, because we only have space for eight foods in a freezer section, but we give a multitude of other organic foods to introduce to your children at the appropriate time.
Okay, now is it important for a parent to track what the child is eating and how much the child is eating?
Well, if you're a parent of coming from a child with an allergy, but just in the beginning, introductory, another resource is we have daily trackers for our 6-month and up children, 8-month and up children, and 10-month and up children, where we're giving very gentle suggestions, because every family is different, about which foods to feed, at what time in the day, how big are appropriate serving sizes, because we don't want to overfeed. You can track wet diapers, dirty diapers, sleep, liquid intake if you're using formula or breast milk, all that's available. And it's helpful then when you go to your wellness child visits, right? Because in the first year, those children are going frequently. So any questions you can write down and talk about it with your pediatrician.
Now, do you notice that there are a lot of children out there that do have these allergies?
I do a lot of talks, and I'm part of a baby food making series, and I get a lot of questions from moms who are dealing with it. you know, 4 months, 6 months, asking me a lot of, what did you do, what did you stay away from? So I'm hearing it a lot. We get a lot of encouragement and gratitude from the gluten sensitive and celiac community because we've chosen to make a gluten-free product. So it's out there, and that's another reason why we just do a single ingredient. So it's one organic ingredient and water in each BPA-free cup, and that's it. So in the event we have diaper rash or raised hives or congestion, the family will know right away what food it is. And then to bring that up to their pediatrician and sort of discuss that and work through what the strategy is going to be for that food and the other foods that happen to sit in that food family.
Okay, now I know that you teach cooking classes
I do.
to new parents and basically children as well. But I know that you're a big fan of batch cooking.
I am.
So explain what batch cooking is and why it's a good idea at any age.
Well, batch cooking really came into play a lot for me when I was single, and then as I had these little babies who, oh my goodness, we're trying to get them to sleep and eat and drink, and so if a mom of twins is up making baby food 3 o'clock in the morning, we're not going to make a little every time we cook.
Of course.
So we would cook on Sundays and we would cook our foods on Wednesday, leave in the refrigerator what we were going to work through during the week, and then freeze the rest. And I always encourage families to do this when the moms are pregnant. Start batch cooking because it's a really easy and effective way and a nice thing to add into your routine to eat healthy. Because for me, I'm going to eat everything in sight while I'm waiting for my meal to cook. But if we've got a nice container of organic vegetables and maybe some chicken breasts already cooked in the fridge, then it's ready. And when you're hungry and you're pregnant, you just want to eat right now. And the thinking is the same thing. So we batch cook when we're pregnant, we batch cook when we have infants, and then we batch cook again for toddlers because, you know, snacks, I think a great snack are organic vegetables. But when baby's hungry, we can't sometimes wait and cook our veggies, so we batch cook. So I'm a big, big advocate of that, yes.
Denise, any last minute tips for parents with regard to eating habits?
We really encourage, again, the single ingredient foods for first foods, and also as they play as a nice springboard into the foods of your family, right? So we have so many different wonderful cultures in our society. You know, I'm almost all Italian, so the foods of my family are going to have that slant.
Sure.
So my view would be just get cooking and get the foods of your family worked into these little babies' routines as early as possible so that dinner's dinner, not a smorgasbord, is kind of what I would say.
Okay. Well, Mary, my last question obviously goes to you. And I'd like to know basically what the goal of the library is in having all these new parents show up at the library for a New Parent Expo.
Well, one of our strategic goals is early literacy, and we've created these special packets to encourage parents to read to their young child. And we discovered that after you've had your child, you're very, very busy. So a good way to reach new parents is actually when they're planning for the birth of their child. So we wanted to bring them in. And while we were doing that, we wanted to provide them with a variety of information, not just on early literacy, but on feeding them healthy foods and safe sleep and things like that.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful idea. Good luck with the New Parent Expo, and good luck with your company, Denise. Thank you so much, both of you, for being with me today.
Thanks.
Again, Mount Prospect Public Library's New Parent Expo is being held on September 10th. For more information on this or any upcoming Mount Prospect Public Library event, call the library at area code 847-253-5675 or visit our website at www.mppl.org. Whatever your age, fitness is essential. Here's a look at a senior session designed to promote exercise for life. While most people realize that exercise is a vital element in maintaining strength, flexibility, and function, sometimes the hardest part of performing an exercise routine is, well, just getting started.
Today I'm going to speak about how somebody can start an exercise program.
Physical therapist assistant Angela Wallace of Alexian Brothers Medical Center outlines some of the steps patrons should take before embarking on a fitness regime during this Mount Prospect Public Library senior session, Exercise for Life.
They may want to seek some guidance from their doctor or their physical therapist, just to at least get a baseline, starting off slow and just kind of building from there. Coming up with a good program I'm going to help lay the foundation so that somebody can start off that way and give them the